If you're going to live in peace, it's not going to happen by accident. Every day we have opportunities to get upset, to be offended, to live worried. Life happens. People get on your nerves, unexpected bills, a family member's in the hospital. If you wait for all your circumstances to calm down, then you're going to have peace. Then you're going to stop worrying. You'll be waiting your whole life. God never promised that He would keep us from difficulties. He never said that we wouldn't have storms, but He did say He would give us peace in the midst of the storms. He calls it a peace that passes understanding. That means despite what's going on around you, you still have peace.
Like if I were to ask you to define peace, oftentimes we would say, well, peace is the absence of trouble. And that's kind of defies true, but that's defining it in a negative connotation. Peace isn't the absence of anything. It is the 26:3 says it this way. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. And I'm loving everything about that perfect peace. When our minds are steadfast, when stuff comes our way, if He is our first call, if we're going to phone a friend, man, I'm going to turn to Him. I'm going to lean on Him, prop myself up on His word. God, show up in this. He'll bring about perfect peace.
I'm giving this to you, Father. And I'm trusting you with this. I'm trusting you with my relationships. I'm trusting you with my job. I'm trusting you with my friends. I'm trusting you with my education. The burden is off of me, and now the burden is on you. Peter says, cast all your care upon Him. Faith-filled prayer brings peace. It says, and the peace that passes all comprehension. When you pray and you do it with thanksgiving, it says it will guard your mind and your heart.
Today has enough trouble of its own. In other words, today needs my best. Today needs my focus. Today needs everything I've got. I need to be my best for today because tomorrow isn't even guaranteed and it's got plenty of troubles for there. So he's saying, don't let the worries of tomorrow rob you of the joy and the focus and the opportunity of today.
Well, we can handle one thing, but then one thing takes on two, and then when two things become three, one wave after another, it's enough to make you wonder, will I make it through this storm? Paul's answer to that question is profound and concise. He says, the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Then we can do this.
Thanksgiving, it says it will guard your mind and your heart. And so the saints of old called it praying through. How do you know you've prayed enough? When you have peace. If you don't have peace, keep praying. And don't just be worried while you're praying. Trust God while you're praying.
Paul says prayer is critical to keeping calm in stressed out situations. Prayer is critical to finding peace when your heart is filled with worry. As a matter of fact, it's so important that Paul puts it first on the list. He says that whatever you do, pray. Marcia, maybe Paul puts it first because he understands that my instinct and my nature is to not always pray first. My instinct is to worry about it.
There's always an underlying sense of dread about the future or worry about the future that robs us of today. Is it possible? Is it possible for us to live in such a way where the worries about the future don't rob us of the joy and possibilities of today? Is that possible? I believe that it is. I believe that it is. And if you read the Gospels, you'll notice that Jesus seemed to be really good at living in the moment. You know, Jesus, think about this. He had 3 years of public ministry, and his task, his assignment, his purpose in life was to save humanity. It's a pretty big job. I know you have a big job too, but that's a pretty big deal, right? And yet he only had 3 years, and somehow he seemed to always stay present to the moment that he was in.